How long could a 500-pound person go without food? They actually did an experiment where they had a person only drink water and certain nutrients, specifically B vitamins. I think he lasted over a year. Have a look at the Angus Barbieri fast. He weighed around 450 pounds and didn't eat for 392 days. By the end of the fast he had lost 275 pounds. ONVM. I just googled the answer. Apparently certain muscles need protein that can only come from regular eating. So obese people may even die sooner due to having weaker muscles. This has been the dietary equivalent of finding out there is no Santa Claus. There was a study done many years ago about this actually. They took an obese man who was almost 500 pounds and put him on a fast for a year. He lost half of his weight. They just gave him multivitamins and potassium. https thoughtcatalog.com/drchetwilliams/2014/06/this 450 man fasted for over a year and has lost more than half his weight. Here's a link if you're interested. Fasting is a thread I accidentally ended up in and now lurk. As others have said, it's possible as long as the person is still getting vitamins and electrolytes. What's scary though is refeeding syndrome, where people can die when they start consuming food again. Let's assume their minimum weight is 210 pounds. Currently my goal weight, then I'll work from there. 1 pound of fat is 3,500 calories. Assuming this person burns exactly 2,300 calories per day. Heavier people expend more energy to do the same things. A 500 pounds person, they'd have to burn a total of 1,015,000 calories to get to their goal weight of 210 pounds. 1,015,000 calories. If they lost 16,100 calories per week, 2,300 per day, it would take them 63 weeks, or just over 14 months to get to their goal weight. Don't quote me. I didn't fully memorize my times tables till I was almost 13. Correct anything I did wrong please. IIRC 1 pound of fat is 3k calories. So if your body could I still wouldn't know because I don't know 300 pounds in kilogram. When I was 27 I weighed about 200 pounds. I contracted mono, and it wasn't diagnosed right away. It's an infection that can be treated with antibiotics. No one could figure out what it was. I went to my primary. I saw his practice partner. I went to walk-in clinics. I saw my mother's primary. Rinse and repeat for close to a year. If you don't know, one of the issues mono can cause is an eating problem. Everything smelled off to me, like food was all rotten. Even drinking water would cause me to immediately vomit. Finally figured out what it was after I went to the hospital my dad worked at and he tested my blood. Had an IV bag of fluids and antibiotics and was perfectly fine a couple of days later. I lost about 60 pounds. Best diet ever, but I wouldn't recommend it. Winking face. There is a guy on YouTube with the username, Amazing Fasting Fat Man. He went over a year on just water, vitamins, and electrolytes. He stopped voluntarily and is fine. Long enough to see this question show up here many times. It's not about living off of stored energy. Your body will start shutting systems off one by one and your organs will cease functioning. Every body is different. It's not unheard of for people to do 30+ day fasts under supervision. Personally, I've gone 14 days. It really wasn't that bad. Day 8 and day 11 were really tough for some reason but nothing crazy. And I was still going to work and doing some moderate exercise. My main fear was refeeding syndrome. That can kill you, but probably not for a shorter fast like mine. That's more of a worry for people doing like 25+ days. With extended fasting as written about in Dr. Jason Fung's books, you use about a pound of body fat per day for the first 2 days as your adrenaline kicks in. Then half a pound each day afterward. Your weight will drop by close to double that. But that's water weight that'll come back on when you start eating again. I've done varying fasts with my longest being 17 days. And this has been pretty dead on for what's occurred. Body fat is stored for a purpose. We used to fatten up for winter to survive when food would become scarce. So we've definitely evolved to be able to go through periods of feasting and fasting. Our fasting has the info in the wiki if you're interested. TLD or general rule is you'd be able to go twice as many days as pounds of body fat on you. Edit. Didn't respond to the last part. A 500 pounds person, assuming they aren't 9 feet tall and well proportioned, has almost every organ under tremendous strain and is probably suffering from malnutrition given their extensive hunger that is being dealt with by consuming low nutrient, high calorie foods. Given a person's relatively poor health, if they are carrying 300 or more pounds of excess fat and eating enough to sustain that fat without burning it, any significant shock to the system such as an extended fast could be a serious risk. Fat is 9 kilocalories per gram or 9 kcals per kilogram. Converted to lbs is roughly 5 kcals per pound. Males use 2.5 kcals per day. Females 2 k per day. Assuming all essential nutrients are consumed, a female could last around 1125 days and a male around 840 days. Very rough calculations, by the way. Most people will say that there are 3,500 calories in a pound of fat. But in physiology, you learn that 1 gram of fat burns 9 calories. So a pound of fat should be closer to 4,090 calories by that estimate. Assuming that the person's ideal weight is 150 pounds, and their basal metabolic rate drops to 1,500 calories in starvation mode. If they don't go into ketoacidosis or die from vitamin deficiency, they could last 955 days. Give or take. Keep in mind, this is if they don't move at all and stay in bed all day. Total starvation is fatal in 812 weeks. Regardless of initial body weight, even if you have lots of body fat left to burn, you can still starve to death if you don't have enough muscle, because vital muscles like the heart will have been weakened to the point where they stop working. For this reason, doctors normally consider 40 to 50% weight loss as life-threatening. Regardless of your initial body weight. https www.sciencefocus.com/thehumanbody/who would he for starvation afatarith in person. If they are bedridden, they probably don't have access to water. So they have roughly 3 days before they die of dehydration. There was a guy who went a year or 2 under doctor supervision. Ate nothing. Took daily nutrient injections. ECT. There was a guy that did this under medical supervision. Only had fluids for an entire year. I don't remember how much he lost, but he was pretty obese when he began and was within the healthy BMI when he finished. There is about 3,500 calories in a pound of fat. Let's assume the person burns through 2,000 calories a day, and an average male weigh about 160. That means they would need to lose 340 pounds. So, amount of calories needed to burn 340 pounds by 3,500 calories pound equals 1,190,000 calories. 1,190,000 calories by day, 2,000 calories equals 595 days. It would take about 595 days to get to 160 pounds. as other people are saying, quite a lot longer than you would think. There's also some evidence through studies that long-term fasting can shrink cancerous tumors.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.